Take my hand, together we'll fall now, we'll fall now. I don't know what to say, but I'll try my best. It's terribly cliche, 'cause when you
Hey guys, so I'm going to talk to you today about what it's like to be pregnant. And considering that what it's like to be pregnant is really hard to explain and it differs from every woman, I'm just going to give you my experience personally of what it was like for me being pregnant with my daughter. And considering there are 3 trimesters to pregnancy, this is going to be a 3-part video segment, and the first video obviously is going to be the first trimester. So to start out with the first trimester, when they go off your LMP due date, the first 2 weeks of your pregnancy you're not even pregnant yet. So obviously that was nothing significant. And then, moving on for me, I knew I was pregnant before I even missed my period, and the reason that I knew this was not because I was feeling nauseous, my boobs hurt, nothing like that. I just had this feeling inside my gut that I knew that something was different about my body, but I didn't know what yet. That, and I experienced implantation bleeding, and I experienced that, like, the day before I was supposed to get my period. I was at work and I was kind of cramping and I felt like I was about to start my period, so I took a break really quick to go to the bathroom and check, and it was like really super light brown spotting, like the lightest spotting I've ever experienced, and it was so weird. And then when I got out of work a few hours later and I clocked out and went to the bathroom again before I got in my car and drove off, it stopped and I was no longer cramping. So right then and there I knew that something was different about my body and that I suspected that I was pregnant. So, afterwards I went through the process of going through, I don't know how many pee sticks, like it was insane how many I went through. I spent like over $30 taking home tests and all, and finally was really in denial, and so far nothing about my body had really changed. Like, obviously, I wasn't showing, I was just in the first few weeks of my pregnancy, and it was really 10 weeks into my pregnancy before I got confirmation by a doctor. So there was that, and I really didn't start having symptoms probably until right around that 10-week point. And it started out with nausea. Not vomiting, just nausea. Feeling like I was really, like, just sick. Like I'd been on the merry-go-round way too long or something. It was awful. And everything smelled a lot stronger. Like, at work, I worked at Subway at the time. And like when we put the sandwiches in the microwave or the oven to heat them, it was disgusting. Like, I couldn't stand the smell of certain meats and of some of the vegetables. And certain aspects of my job I can no longer do just because it made me want to puke. So it was probably a few weeks later after that that it moved finally to actual vomiting. And the first time I threw up for being pregnant, I was at home, and it was absolutely disgusting because we just got done eating dinner, and it was like the worst feeling ever. Oh my gosh, it was so terrible. And after that, it became a pattern. It was pretty much a daily basis that I would throw up. And I threw up all kinds of different foods. It wasn't just one certain food that set me off. It was all kinds of foods. It was all times of the day, morning, night, whatever. It happened a lot though late at night. Like, I would wake up and I would run up the stairs, and I know I wouldn't make it up the second flight of stairs to the bathroom, so I would run out my front door and puke in our front yard because I knew I couldn't make it. And it started at work too, and like I would have to leave my post a lot, especially, and it was really bad on nights that I had to close by myself, and I would have to leave my post and run to the bathroom and puke. And then I would close down and lock up the store and walk out to my car and not even get in my car and have to run over to the grass and throw up. And same thing driving down the interstate going home. Stop the car, get out, throw up. So, I was really super nauseous and super sick for the first trimester. That was like the worst symptoms I had. Otherwise, my boobs didn't really hurt, my back didn't hurt, I didn't have anything else except this superhuman scent that drove me insane because I could smell stinky stuff and nobody else could smell it but me. And then it was just like the aversions to food. My brother, we have a smoker, and my brother sometimes will smoke burgers or chicken for us and stuff like that. And my brother is an amazing cook, and I love it when he smokes burgers. They're delicious, and I could not eat them. Like the smell of the smoke, it just choked me up. It made me want to puke. And so, all in all, really that's all that happened in the first trimester, symptom-wise like that. Like, nothing really bothered me except for the nausea and the throwing up constantly. That was what was really terrible. Like, it was so constant. I finally had to get a prescription for some medication to help so I could keep food down because I was losing weight instead of gaining, which you're not really supposed to gain a whole lot during your first trimester anyway. But I kept losing weight significantly, and they were concerned about that. So, and obviously, considering I was losing weight, I really didn't have any weight gained during the first trimester. Until, like, at least the first part, until later on I started gaining weight like crazy. Like, I was definitely showing really well by, 12, 13 weeks. Me and Sam, we told, our parents first, and then we went to our pastor to tell him, and, we told him and his wife together. And I remember them saying, well, at least you can hide it a little bit longer from the church. And then they're like, can't you? And I was like, not really. So I stood up and turned around sideways, and yeah, I had belly already. I started showing pretty early on in my pregnancy with her, and I mean showing like drastically. Like, I wish I would have started taking pictures early on so you guys could see it. Emotionally, in the first trimester, I was a train wreck. Like, the first several weeks of my pregnancy, like, once I knew, I was totally in denial about it. I was scared. I didn't know what we were going to do. I was afraid that Sam would leave me. I didn't know what I was going to do about college. Like, there were so many things that I was afraid of during the first trimester. And I was just really stressed out about it all, and about, how was I going to afford this? How was I going to tell my mom? It was just a really scary time and a really rough time emotionally. That is about it for the first trimester. The first trimester of my pregnancy was really mild. I guess the vomiting was pretty bad, but the first trimester was pretty mild for my pregnancy. I know a lot of people say that the first and the last is the worst. I disagree definitely with that. Like, the first was pretty easy. I didn't really have a lot of problems in the beginning of my pregnancy.
Fatal mistake to outlast